Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is another episode of the world famous, the University of the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But, ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today. Today is Monday, March the 4th, 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very happy to be talking to you today. Now, everybody listening to this podcast, I want to make an announcement. We are going to be on YouTube. We are uploading the podcast as we speak. We have 700 episodes, so it's a slow process. I think YouTube does like 100 episodes every day. So I started this process Saturday night. 100 of them loaded Sunday morning. 100 of them loaded yesterday. We have 500 more to go. We will when they all get uploaded, I will publish them so they can be seen, so you can go. If you like podcasts on YouTube, if you love YouTube more than you do, the Amazon, the Apple, the Spotify, you can go there. You can find it. I will leave the link below in the next few days, and we will start to be, in different places. I gotta sign up for, we gotta we gotta do the social media thing and, post some clips on those and all that kind of good stuff. We're gonna be everywhere. We're gonna be marketing the show heavy. We're gonna be marketing the website heavy. You're gonna see a lot of Tony Rizano on the internet. So beware, okay? And if you want to see some of my writings, I wrote an article this weekend on Medium. You can go check that out. It's talking about parenting basically, and you see a lot of different. Ever since I became a parent, the one thing that's annoying about the internet is they spy. Google spies on you. All these people, they spy on you. They sell you information to China. All of our information has been sold to somebody. So you know how people like to be private on Instagram and all that type of stuff. I always think to myself, you're really wasting your time because they already got all your information. They know what you like. They know what you like to eat. They know what you look up, what you be watching, all that kind of stuff. So the bloom is off the rose. You know what I mean? Like they got all your information. Don't even worry about it. But you know how people they like, oh, I want to be private, but come on now. It's too late. If you want to be private, get off the internet. If you want to be private, don't be on social media. Now I'm gonna be on social media, but I'm gonna go ahead and clue you in. TikTok and Twitter and all these places. I'm gonna upload my stuff, and then that's gonna be it. I'm not gonna. If you send me a message or you write or anything like that, I definitely probably won't respond. One of these days, I'll get somebody to do all that kind of stuff, and then they can respond, whatever. But me personally, I don't have the time. I don't care to respond to social media posts. It's not gonna happen. But I will upload the stuff, and you'll see it. You'll see clips, and all that kind of good stuff. So, but go to YouTube in the next week. We'll leave the link. You can check it out. But today we have something very important to talk about, something that can drive your marketing vehicle. Now, we are all driving a marketing vehicle. If I ain't said it once, if I ain't said it twice, I've said it plenty of times. We are all marketers, ladies and gentlemen. We all market ourselves, whether you are dating, whether you are at a job, no matter what. We are all trying to market ourselves to somebody. And now, why do I say that? Because it is very true. I remember, and this is gonna seg into what we're gonna talk about today. One time when I was a young man, a real young man, a youth, I was probably 15, 16 years old, maybe. I remember, story time, kids. I remember it was the girl that I liked. Long, long time ago, way before I met my beautiful wife, you know, who I adore the most. But I was 15, 16, how old I was. And I met this girl. And, to me, she was the belle of the ball, let's just say that. And she seemed like a real sweetheart. And I remember I was probably 5'5" and 110 pounds, maybe back then, maybe 110 pounds. Wasn't the biggest person in the world. Wasn't the I had glasses. I was a pretty skinny guy. That had big feet. It's very odd. You see a guy that's 5'5", with long arms and kind of big feet, skinny. Is let's just say I wasn't drawing the bees to the honey pot. You know what I'm saying? So I remember I saw this girl and I thought she was beautiful at the time, and I just was thinking to myself, what can I do? What can I say, to get her attention? And this brings me into this episode. And so I was trying to think of a catchphrase that I could start saying to her, in like a sort of joking manner. So this is my this is the thing I sat there and thought about one night, and I was really thinking about it. And I didn't realize at the time, but I was already trying to be I was already into marketing, at this point, because I was sitting there, I'm sitting there, it's hot. I'm in Southeast Missouri back then. I'm trying to think of something clever to say to this girl. I'm like, I got to stand out because she had enough attention, and the people that let's just say this is a competition. Of course, dating is competition, but this was a competition, and I was like, I ain't gonna win on if I take my if I took my shirt off back then, the birds would have flew out of my chest. I had a bird chest, as they say. So that wouldn't have worked. And I had no money, of course. Money was non-existent. Had a few bucks, could have took a McDonald's. That's about it. Had no car. Had. So I just said, you know what? I gotta come up with a tagline. I gotta come up with something clever. Gotta come up with something fun to say. So every time I see it, I can say it. And I thought of something. I came up with something. It wasn't the most clever thing in the world, but you know what, ladies and gentlemen? It worked. What is it? I ain't gonna tell you that. One of these days, maybe for a price, I'll tell you, but I ain't gonna tell you today. Now, I came up with something. I was able to spit it out. She giggled, and I thought to myself, all right. We are in there. We are in there like swimwear, ladies and gentlemen. I was happy as a clam. I was cheesing, you know. I was like, okay, here we go. And so I remember it worked. Every time I seen her, I would say something, and then I built my business. We're gonna talk business right now. And so I used that slogan, and then I built my business on top of that. And I was getting pretty far. I was getting pretty good. I was getting in there, We had nice chit chats, blah 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 blah, all that kind of good stuff. Of course, I didn't close the deal, and when I mean close the deal, you perverts, I don't mean have sex with the woman. Okay, I was 15, So sex wasn't on my sex wasn't on my sex wasn't on my mind at the age of 15. Maybe holding a hand, trying to get a kiss. That was on my mind. I didn't close the deal. I swung and missed on that one, but it's not because the slogan worked. The slogan got me in there, But me personally, I just didn't close the deal. But I say all that to let you know that sometimes in business, no matter who you are, no matter if you're the smallest company in the world or the biggest company in the world, a tagline can get you further than you ever anticipated. And there are plenty of examples that you can look at for your business, for your, let's say, YouTube channel, your content that you create, if you have a tagline, you how like Emerald Lagasse, the guy that used to be on Food Network. I don't know if he's still on Food Network. Every now and then I see infomercial on good old Emerald, and Emerald likes to say, "Bam." He has and that's his little catchphrase, and it works for him. And I remember I used to watch a cooking show at noon every day on KVS 12 in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, the news channel we had. And every day they used to roll out there used to be a segment called Mr. Food. And Mr. Food would always say, ooh, it's so good, and that was his phrase he would use. And it was cool. And I am 44 years old, and I still remember Mr. Food, and I still remember him, making his face and saying, "Ooh, it's so good and it's cool." And you have taglines that are popular like Disney, happiest place on earth, Nike, just do it, Burger King, have it your way, Capital One, they have the what's in your wallet. You remember the early 2000s, Verizon. Can you hear me now? I remember when I first started driving trucks, and I went the first 6 months, a year maybe, without a cell phone. Don't ask me how. some of you are gonna be like, how do you survive without a cell phone? But ladies and gentlemen, kids, there was life before cell phones. I lived through those times. I spent my whole Navy life without a cell phone, so it worked out for me. It was cool. You don't realize, and not to get off on a tangent, but if you want to be productive, the more productive you are, the more you have to put down the cell phone, put down the emails, and really concentrate and really focus on the task at hand. But that'll be another podcast for a whole nother time. Right now we are discussing taglines, and that you like I told you, you want to use taglines to stand out. You want to really come across. You want to be. You have you ever looked out? Have you ever looked out in a crowd of people? You know, and you see people and they're sort of all dressed the same, and you can't really make. Let's just say this. Let's say you go to the mall, and you're supposed to meet somebody at the mall, a friend, a date, no matter. And you go to the food court. You say, hey, I want to meet you at the food court. And you go, okay. And then you walk inside the food court, and you're looking, and you're looking, and you're looking. And you say, I can't see my friend. I don't see my friend nowhere. But what if your friend has a shirt that has a bunch of bells and whistles, a bunch of lights on there? You'll be like, hey, there go Joe Blow. There go Sally Sue. Sally Sue! What are you doing? And they stand out. And so a tagline is just like that. You want to have a light, over your head. You want to have something to, because listen, sometimes, people will tell you, oh, this market's saturated, that market's saturated, but it's not really saturated. What it is your marketing is not as good as the other people. If you sell fried chicken and you're competing against Colonel Sanders, well, in the 80s anyway, now KFC, a little suspicious, not the greatest in the world. But in the 80s, used to have it's finger looking good. I remember when I was a kid, if you told me chicken, you say, hey, we're going out to have chicken, I would say, take me to KFC. Now you wouldn't utter, now most of us probably wouldn't utter that phrase. But back then, you say, chicken, finger looking good, you go, ooh, KFC, And sometimes you don't even need to know the company. You just see like if you see Nike, you see the swoosh or you see the Just Do It, it's Nike. If you see, happiest place on earth, it's Disney, there's just certain, what I know, like if you see a polar bear holding a drink, you think Coca-Cola, you know what I mean? And so taglines can help you stand out. Taglines, whether you use tagline in your business, whether you use a tagline in the content you create, they can always help you stand out amongst the crowd. And you want to really focus on that, because listen, a lot of times it's not the product, it's how you market the product that can get you to really level up, go where you want to go, do what you want to do, and create the life that you want. It's not about, because I remember I listened to a lot of How I Built This, and it was a guy on there. He was like doing some kind of crunch bar, protein bar or whatever, and the host was like, and they got a lot of protein bars, and he's like, marketing, we had to figure out the marketing. The marketing is very important. You know, a lot of times people don't realize that. You can go, you can tweak, you can manipulate, you can do this, you can do that. But if the marketing is no good, then nobody's really gonna know the product that you are trying to sell or you are trying to promote, or they won't know you as well. So you have to market yourself, market your product, and taglines are very important. Taglines can move you ahead of the game. All right. And so, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Online Marketing Moves. We will be back tomorrow with an all new episode. But until then, my name is Tony Rizano. Thank you for listening. God bless. And as always, everybody, peace.